Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mark with Spiguyver Backpacking. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm sitting here in my kitchen, just kind of wanted to show you guys, I got a new Fancee Feest. So I had talked about the one that I had not performing right, and so I contacted Zelph and they sent me a new one. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's go. Alright, so as you guys know, Zelph makes one of the most popular backpacking stoves out there if you're looking at alcohol stoves, and that is the Fancee Feest. Now, I had mentioned and shown on some videos that I was having some problems with my original one, which is right here, and so they sent me a new one. As you can see, they are identical. They look exactly the same. So what I was told was that the problem actually lied in the fiberglass wicking that was used. That for a period, right around the time when I purchased mine, there was a flaw or a problem with the fiberglass wicking that they were receiving from their vendor, and that it was too tight, too tightly woven, and so it was not absorbing the alcohol, and so the alcohol didn't wick up the way that it should. The thing that I had pointed out was that, you know, you see Shug loves his Fancee Feest stove, but he sets his pot right on there and lights it every time. And I could not get it to do that. I was having to light it pretty much from the center or let it sit for quite a while before it would absorb enough that I could light it at the wick. So what I thought I would do tonight is bring you guys along, set it up right here at the table, and set both of them side by side. I have my 12 cm pot and a Toke 700 light. Both are about the same diameter, so we'll create about the same flame pattern underneath. And I've got 2 cups of cold water in each one of them. I'm going to use ½ ounce of heat. This is yellow bottle heat in each one of these, and see whether or not ½ ounce can bring those 2 cups of cold water to a boil in a nice controlled environment right here in my kitchen. So no wind, nice about 70-degree temperature, so no problems there, no environmental factors that should weigh into this. So we're gonna go ahead, get this thing set up. I'm gonna put something down on the table so my wife doesn't kill me, and then we'll take a look at it. So let's do this. Okay, so I have my 2 Fancee Feest stoves here, and I've got them on an upside down baking pan, or cookie sheet, whatever you wanna call this. I've got it upside down with pot holders underneath it so that I'm not gonna damage this table and have my wife kill me. So I've got a measuring cup here. I'm gonna do ½ ounce of yellow bottle heat in each one of these. This is the old one, this is the new one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna fill this one first, then this one. I'm gonna put both of the pots on here, and then I'm gonna show you how easy it is to light the 2 of them, okay? So let's do that. ½ ounce in. Now, as you saw, I put it in the old one, the one that I had trouble with first, putting the pots on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just turn these lights off so you guys can see a little bit better. And I'm gonna light the new one. Then I'm gonna light the old one. And as you can see here, I cannot get the old one to light. There we go. So, took a little bit more, quite a bit more. As you can see, this one's already going. I'm gonna go ahead, now that they're both lit, just turn on the stopwatch. So you could see this one lit up nice and quick, got going, and this one really did not want to light all that well. So the way that I've counteracted this in the past is I've actually lit this one in the center, then put the pot on, and it works pretty well that way. All right, so I've got both of the stoves going. We're about 40 seconds in. Pretty good burn on both of them right now. I'll turn this light back off, just leave this one on. And you can see both of them are burning really nicely. They go out to the edges of the pot, but don't really creep up the sides of these pots really well. So both of these are about the same. This is a 12 cm, so that's about how wide that 700 light from Toaks is. So this is titanium, this one's aluminum, so they're gonna distribute heat a little bit differently, but not tremendously different. So let's just let this go and see how it works. So there is a reason that this is one of the most popular stoves out there on the market as far as alcohol stoves go, and that's just this burn pattern. A nice blue flame all the way around. It's not jetted, it's just, it works. I was a little bit disappointed after watching Shug's video and other people's videos, seeing how they were able to just set their pot on, light it up, and it fired up every time. My first one didn't really do that. The new one, however, is doing exactly that. Okay, so an interesting result here. Both of these had a ½ ounce of heat in there. We're just shy of a boil on this one. But the old one, which didn't light until about 30 seconds, 20 seconds after this one, went out already. So we are just shy. ½ ounce of heat in a perfect environment in either one of these was not able to bring it to a boil. This one didn't even burn quite as long. It's 7 minutes and 15 seconds now, so it was a little before 7 minutes. The new one went out. The old one went out probably 20-30 seconds before that, maybe a little bit longer. So, what did I learn? You know, not a whole lot. Just fun to play around with stoves and boil water, or almost boil water in this case. So I didn't want to end this video with a failed attempt at boiling water. Who likes that? Everyone wants to see water boil. So we're outside. We're gonna do this a little bit more realistic. I'm on a nice cold concrete ground. I've got 3/4 of an ounce in here, since a ½ ounce wouldn't do it. I'm gonna be using the windscreen, and I've got 2 cups in here. So there we go. It's on, it's going. Let's see whether or not this boils. Why don't we start the timer? Just because we can. All right, let's come back, check out whether or not this worked. Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys about the conditions out here, just so you knew what was going on, what type of temperature it's at. So it's 47 degrees outside right now. The water that's in there came out of my fridge, so it was nice and cold. And we are 2 minutes and 45 seconds into this. Burn's going on pretty good. It's warming up. Is it gonna come to a boil? Let's find out. Okay, there's a lot of steam coming out of there, as you can see. So I'm guessing that it is boiling. And there you go. So 3/4 of an ounce of fuel. Leave that off so you guys can watch the water boil. 3/4 of an ounce of fuel. It was about 735, 740, steaming up the camera a little bit, but you can see flames are still going. It is still going pretty strong. They're at 8 minutes, and we've got a nice rolling boil. With it being cold out, if you leave the top on, you'll get a stronger boil. But there you go. We were able to do it. 3/4 of an ounce, so that would be plenty for getting it done. Right now we are at total burnout. It just went out. We're at 9 minutes and 28 seconds right now. I'll stop that. So about 9 minutes of good flame. It kind of flickered for the last 30 seconds there, but it boiled at about 730, 740 with 3/4 of an ounce of fuel. 2 cold cups of water. 45 to 47 degrees out here. You can see my breath. It's getting colder. Windscreen on a nice cold surface, so nothing underneath it. No reflective, no vapor barrier, just on the cold concrete. And that's what we got. So we had a good boil there with 2 cups of water. I almost never use a full 2 cups of water. It all depends on what your meal calls for, but most of the meals that I do call for quite a bit less than that. Usually the top end of that is going to be in the 12-ounce range. So ½ ounce of fuel should be able to do that for me. But if not, you can always add a little bit extra and do it if you're trying to conserve fuel, or if you've got plenty of fuel, throw 3/4 in, you know it's gonna work. Okay, so what do these stoves weigh? I've got my scale right here. So the new one, 23 grams. The old one, 23 grams. So they both weigh 23 grams, which goes to show that the quality, you know, just the consistency coming out of Zelph's factory is exactly the same. They use the same amount of fiberglass in each one. It just so happens that the new one has a little bit looser weave. The old one was during that batch where they had a little bit too tight of a weave, and so it does not absorb the fuel quite as well. Great stoves. I can see why people like them. I liked it before, just I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't light it the way that Shug does. So that's been resolved, and it works as advertised. So I will be getting this one out on the trail with me, taking it out, testing it, playing with it, and letting you guys know what I think of it after some real world use, and maybe some comparisons to some other stoves that I like to use out there. So I wanted to give you guys a comparison of old versus new, just show you what it was that I had been dealing with. While it wasn't a big deal, Zelph did take care of me. They got me a new one, and it works just as advertised. And I wanted to make sure you guys knew that there weren't serious issues out there or any issues with the stoves. And another big mark for the cottage vendors for standing behind their product and doing what was right. Thank you, Zelph. Thank you, Bridget, for making that happen. I truly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I will see you down the trail.